Okay, another beautiful day at the shop. This morning we did a shakedown run on the Tahoe, first time off-road. We ran Last Chance Canyon. Pretty easy four-wheel drive. It's, it's got some obstacles here and there, but the nice thing is it has options on it that are pretty big, and you can try it, but if you have problems, you just back down on it and you just take the main road. And it actually it's a wash for quite a while. It's about 1.5 miles, 2 miles long of optional rocks and stuff, and so I thought that's a great way to break it in. And had a rear drive shaft failure.
And there it is, all hanging down there. But yeah, otherwise, drive shaft's still intact. So we figure with the spill kit, we can catch some oil. It'll be a couple hours before we find a parts store, but other than that, great deal.
assessing it after I got the thing off that really steep ledge. It was the U-joint strap on the rear differential. So nothing I modified on that vehicle, which is all the front end. None of that failed. It was actually the factory U-joint strap failed. And of course, once that failed, then there's all kinds of things that go wrong. So we were able to limp it out of there. Actually drove it in front wheel drive, turned the locker on, and we drove out of that whole canyon, over rocks and around and whatever we could do to get through stuff. Never had a strap or any winch or nothing, and got it out of there. And then 30 miles an hour, we drove it for about 50 minutes to the nearest town, and it happened to be Ridgecrest. So it's in Ridgecrest. And then my daughter said, here, take my Jeep home, leave this here. I grabbed the drive shaft and looking for some U-joints to replace it, because that U-joint got full of dirt and falling out. And it's old. It's got 270,000 miles on the thing. It was time to replace it. Well, I learned something new, and let me show you what it is. Oh, so fun facts. These U-joints, there's usually a C-clip in here or some sort of clip on the outer. There are no clips at all. And if it can focus on it, see that little dot right there? And then there's another one over there. And if I flip it over, there'll be one on the back side as well. So these are plastic injection molds. And there's a little groove in between, right inside on the inside of here. And when GM puts these U-joints in there, they then put their injection molder here and they fill that up with this plastic, and then that plastic is basically the C-clip. It holds these U-joints in places. So with that, there's no way I could have field replaced that U-joint. So if you build an off-road vehicle, especially a Chevy Tahoe or Suburban, something like that, check to see if you have those plastic pieces on here that hold that in, and then you're going to want to remedy that so that you could put in something with a C-clip. So the replacement U-joint will actually put an inner C-clip here and one here, and then that will make this thing feel serviceable. If I have another failure, if I have a spare, I can put a spare in. But there was no way I can do this, because I watched a video. It's from South Main Auto. The guy's great. He's out in New York, and he showed me how to do this. It was awesome. You got to heat this up with a torch, and then these things will come out like little worms, and all that plastic will start coming out of it. And you got to do both of them, and then that's how you release it. And then it's kind of a standard, beat on it U-joint removal. And to make it even quicker, he used a big old oxyacetylene torch, and he actually cut the center section out, and then he could pull the little nubs out of the caps, and so all he had to do was work on the caps. So instead of using a beastly oxyacetylene torch, which most of us don't have, he said you could use a butane, or maybe I'm thinking propane torch, to see if that'll work too. And instead of cutting this out with a torch, oxyacetylene, they're really expensive. I'm going to try to do it with a cutoff wheel and a grinder. And these are all tools that a lot of us have, or at least have accessibility to them. They're not expensive, so why not? Let's give it a try. All right, you're going to hear a dog, because there's going to be her favorite toy, Sparky. Well, there's one side. That was cool. Probably why you want to use an oxyacetylene. The other thing is, you got to anchor this grinder down on the table, or it's gonna, you know, come up here and hit your U-joint. There you go. Make sure you wear a glove because that sucker gets hot. Woo! Now the camera is on top the same table as this. Let's see if I can get the nubs out. Ah, there's one. There. Okay. And there's the other piece. And here's the chopped off U-joint. Alright, so we're going to get the propane torch out, and I'm going to see if the propane will work. I'll work one at a time. Go from there. No idea how long this will take to melt it out. Let me start this over again. Hold on. There's a lack of lighting here. All right, here we go in. More light. And keep your eye on it. Just that little bud right there. It hasn't come out the other side yet. So that was pretty cool. Okay, comes the other side. All right, let's see if we can get this out. Using this so I don't like bend the ears. Ta-da! One. Okay. That worked. Let's deal with the other one. What do you think? Ugh. See it? Yeah. There it is. I can get it to come out the other side. You're gonna be able to see that one. There it goes. The other side. Not as much. Let's see if that's enough. Torch don't want to turn off. Isn't that lovely? Boy, that boot was on there hard. The needle bearings are coming out. As close as I can. Done. And it's hot. It's nice. That works really good. Other than that, I just got to clean it up, and I'll get back to you when it's clean. And I don't have my U-joint yet. It's coming in tomorrow at 8:30, so I had to order it. That's when you live out in the boonies. That's the way it rolls. But that is the method that I saw, except to use an oxyacetylene, where you could cut everything with a torch. But you can do it with a grinder, and you can do it with a propane cheap torch. It's awesome. So now there's a bit of a mess we have to clean up, and you're gonna need your torch again, because there's a little groove right in the middle of here, and it's still full of plastic, and you gotta get that out. I'm just gonna burn it out. See if that's enough to chip it out. Yeah. Yourself a little pick and just keep heating it up and scrape it out of there. You don't want that in there. That'll get in the way of putting the new joint in there. There we go. Making some progress. All right, now more heat. Well, that stuff's hard.
I mean, you'd think it'd heat that plastic right up, but it's resistant to the heat. So I think it's best to work at a section at a time. There's a lot of heat in one spot where the plastic is, and you only want to do this once. Thanks, Asa. My light, you can't see it either. Wow. That stuff is hard. Oh, look at that come out. That's good. There we go. Okay, got that one done. Not too bad. So I think the technique there is just work it a little quarter at a time and go from there. Let me kind of show you what I'm talking about, see if I can get it up close. Uh-oh, magnet. Okay. Yeah, see that little groove in there? That's the groove of plastic gets in there. You can see it better over here. There we go. Little groove. And if I flip this over, yeah, see now you can see that white, that is the plastic. And I'm heating that up. I'm just scraping out my tiny little screwdriver, or you can use a little angle pick, but that's all I'm doing. Cleaning it up a bit. All right. Whatever you got, you know, to get it clean on the inside, you know, nice and clean, because you want to not mess it up. Need that new U-joint, every possibility to survive. You can see the little slots all cleaned out, and everything's all nice and cleaned out, no rust or junk. And down there is gonna ruin my install, and that's all I'm doing is cleaning it up now. This thing's hot. Put some heat on. So I'm gonna call this a success right here. And tomorrow, gotta wait, I'll bring you a joint and we'll go get that done. All right, well, it's a new day. Got me a nice new Moog, M-O-G, I don't know how you say that, U-joint here. And you can ride along with me on how to do this. Thank you, Asa. I haven't done one of these in a long time, but I'll try and figure this out. Let's see. Let's start with that. And pull these
caps off. More light on the situation so you guys can kind of see. And is there? Okay, non-greasable. There you go. Before I do that, hold on a minute. We get a little bit of something good here. Just want to make it slippery. Anything you can do to help get the suckers to slide in there, get some of the resistance off of the caps going in. Okay. Oh, my finger's in there. Well, I think we're at the, it's not going straight, but I think we're at the point where I have to hit hard. Hit hard. I see it's going in that side more than this side. There we go. I was holding it from going in. I have to back the U-joint out a little bit, and then it goes right down. There it goes. Ooh, that was good. I can just see the groove a little bit. Might need another little tap of whack, but yeah, I like that. Now I'm going to hold it kind of back up in that one, get it started so the bearings don't come out. I was punishing myself. That's what happened there. Wow. I don't know if I can get this bag open. So much grease on it. These are the little clips. Oh, there is a Fazert fitting in here, isn't there? Okay. Let's see if this will work. Ta-da! Clip number 2. So you just set them in there just far enough. That one a little tighter. Let's see. Knock my light over. I need some metal. Oh, there's metal. So I think this side needs just a little tap tap. There we go. It's because I can get that clip to slide around. Make sure it's actually all the way in there. These are just short clips. Yeah. Okay. That one looks good. That one looks good. Well, a little stress relief. And there, see that? Piece of cake. That U-joint is in there. These guys, you I just somehow figure out how to get the clip on them too. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It was easier with this on there. And this has to do with the seat when it goes into the yoke. Oh, that's easier. Yeah, do it that way. And then if there's a problem with the seat and yoke, well, I'll take it off. But I think that's where it's coming from. So there's the groove to clip in. Got to hit square without popping my fingers. Actually got to hit it pretty hard. I don't have the hand strength to force it in. There it goes. Oh, there it is. That's got to be it. Give me a zert fitting, but to where does it go? I see no hole. Maybe it's just the way they do the packaging. There's a bump right here where like you would think it'd go, but there's no hole. So I'm thinking it's non-greasable. But there is not a hole anywhere. Anywhere. All right. Well, piece of cake, right? That is done drive shaft. So now I got to drive from here all the way out to Ridgecrest to install it. Because Tahoe is not here at my house. So anyways, hope you enjoyed that. And we'll see, I'll get into the truck. We'll look at the destruction next. Well, look at this. Truck, headed back home. It's just standard drive shaft install. Slip it into the end of the transfer case and then tap it into the yoke. With straps and 4 bolts. No big deal there. Nothing exciting. But it was a great run. This is why you do shakedown run. I've been building this thing. I was planning on taking it to the Rubicon Trail, and I thought, it's untested. Nobody off-roads Tahoes. I don't know anybody personally, but so you go out and you try to run it. Do a shakedown run, see what works, we see what doesn't. What did work was I was really surprised. The suspension worked great. The rear tire stuffed all the way up and actually got all the way up into the fender well. I mean, those suckers, they went all the way up and a little bit up under here, and they never rubbed. That's stuff that happens. We're also doing, a lot of steering, and, these front tires, nothing rubbed on here, nothing hit up in the front. That's all, that's all part of the game when you're doing big tires on something that wasn't meant to have big tires on it. So that worked really good. I don't have a 4-to-1 transfer case like a Rubicon. It's a 2.72 to 1. And it did really well. There was enough torque in the motor or whatever, and putting a little brake pressure with the left foot, gas on the right foot, and it finessed really well. So overall, I was really happy with it. I found out underneath, I hit a few things. One of the problems there that you saw in the video was that rock got stuck. This side was the crossover exhaust pipe, and then this side was the cross member. And I was actually lucky that that U-joint strap broke, because when I was backing up, I would have ripped that exhaust off, and I would have ripped the catalytic converters off. And if you have to buy that part with California legal issues, instead of a $300 part, that's a $1,500 to $2,000 part here in California, because it has to have the CARB numbers. If someone would hurry up and just abolish CARB and make us all standardized with EPA, God, I'd appreciate it. Parts would be a lot more actually affordable. But let me show you what's left of the carnage here. Hold on. So there's the one strap that didn't fail. That's what's left of the other strap. This U-joint survived. This one actually got thrown out onto the dirt, and you can see there's dirt on the inside of it. And then, of course, this one got like totally destroyed. There's the 4 bolts. You see that bad boy's that's bent. And really, this was the failure. Had the strap failed, which caused everything else downline. So the failure actually wasn't anything that I did. It was a factory part. Factory strap, factory bolts, factory U-joint, factory everything back there. All this work I did on the front end here, all that worked out great. So, I mean, I'm kind of happy about that. So it's got new straps, new bolts, new U-joint. You saw that. And I've got a few skid plate issues, like with that crossover exhaust pipe. I got to see if there's a way I can somehow protect that. I looked and it didn't look like there was a good chance of me figuring getting some plating or something to protect that. But I'll take another look at it now that I'm not in some other city or in the dirt. But for the most part, yeah, it did really well. But it's not at all ready for the Rubicon. There's just not enough protection. I need some rock sliders on there. I need some protection right down here. You know, and this is all just plastic here. So yeah, there's a lot more work, and we were supposed to go like the next 30 days. I'm not going to get it done. But that's okay. You know, I set a goal. Timeline, I had a couple other things get in the way. But I learned some things with this. And so far, progress is going really well. And another thing I learned, there's a slight drive shaft vibration. I believe it's front drive shaft vibration. So I can only go about 65 miles an hour. Above that, boy, you can really feel it. And I didn't want to heat that sucker up and blow it out, or premature, you know, wear out that drive shaft. So I'm going to do a little work, try to see if I can do a little finagling here to help resolve that. Oh, and the other thing is, I didn't realize, I actually, you know, I drove this thing in front wheel drive with the rear drive shaft out, no plug in the end of the tail shaft, and that tail shaft, you know, it's just open vessel. Oil comes out of it. And so I drove between 25 miles an hour to 30 miles an hour for 25 miles. So it took me 50 minutes. It's about right. And the transfer case holds about 2 quarts of oil, just shy of 2 quarts. I put a whole quart in it. I'm really happy. Clutch disc didn't, and because I wasn't pushing the speed, clutch didn't get hot, you know, we weren't stressing it. So you can limp this thing back to, you know, some city or whatever, if it's, you know, close enough, but don't be in a hurry to get there. So we did added a quart, it's all filled up, it's working. And that has got me curious. I want to buy a tail shaft plug that if it ever happens to me again, I put that plug in there. And if I lose oil, I'm going to carry oil. and a little hand pump, fill it up, and then limp it home again in front wheel drive. If I ever have to do that again, I'm going to be prepared for it now. So, but that's why we do shakedown runs. And there's no way, I mean, we have a big group of people who want to go run the Rubicon, and I don't want to be that guy that shows up untested vehicle, or shows up the vehicle we know it has problems and take it anyway, and then be a burden on the whole group. You know, you got to think, don't think about yourself making the event. You got to remember there's other people in that group, and you don't want to be that guy that everybody is a little bit ticked at because they you brought your junk out to this event and, you know, screwed their event up when you knew you shouldn't have done that. So as far as this video, that's all I got. And I want to say thanks for watching. And please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, bell, whatever it is. I really appreciate you guys watching this. And I plan on doing a lot more videos. So stay tuned. And for now, I'm out.